Welcome back, everybody. Good morning, Maximus. Back again. I'm your host, Tonto Nomini, aka Dip Catcher, aka Brian, if you know me in real life, creator of Maximus, member of the awesome and growing Maximus community. We're having a great time. The rest of crypto's in turmoil. Meanwhile, the Hexicans, the Mexicans, we're cruising, and that's all thanks to you guys. You guys stick to the script. You guys are holding things that are trustless, that require nobody to perform any work for you, and it's reflected in the price charts. Let's take a look at it. Today we have Maximus breaking out of the window from last night. We were talking on stream. It was hovering around 60-cent premium while I was on stream with Maddie and David. Another awesome moment in Maximus history. The world is trying to discover, what is Maximus going to be worth? How do you value this thing? It's like something we've never seen before. And a lot of strong signals of demand. I mean, look at these purchases, just, 8:31. So 9 minutes ago, someone bought $70,000 worth to help counteract, a $84,000 sell, $27,000. But I mean, just look at these numbers. Like, if you just scroll through, whole lot of buying, pockets of selling. That's healthy. That's a liquid market. We have 1.15 million MAXI for sale, and we have 6.385 million HEX as bid support. So this is a very active market. Not only do we remove the 294 million MAXI from liquid circulating supply, we also put about 6.3 million HEX in this, kind of buffer zone where this HEX is not for sale for dollars. It's bidding on MAXI. It's not bidding on USDC. And so we like to count that HEX in our ecosystem as well. What's up, camera guy? Hello, sir, from GMT. Swearwork says, "Good evening, Maximus." Yep, it's morning somewhere and evening somewhere. So good day to all. Good day, Maximus. Maybe that should have been the name of the stream. Yeah, another exciting day. Like times like this, like when we're looking at I wonder if things have started to recover a little bit. Let's look at nomics. Fuck, corn market cap. Corn market. We should make a corn market cap site. I mean, everything is still nuking. Hex is experiencing a little bit of a retrace, but not as bad as everything else. Jesus Christ. What's interesting about it is that because a lot of, it truly doesn't matter what's causing people to sell. Like bear markets are bear markets, sellers are sellers. Like the people that had the coins before are selling them, and it truly doesn't even matter why they're selling them. One of the, other than just like, we've been in a couple months of crypto bear market. And so by now it's like there are people who have bought higher and are cutting losses. There are people that have bought lower. They're locking in, minimal gains. They saw massive gains and then they sat on it. It's going down. So like, there's a lot of different types of sellers right now. A lot of the kind of crazed selling activity that we saw is related to this issue with the stablecoin, which has lost its peg by 50%. And then the impact that has caused as the entity, the promise coin behind Terra USD, which is Luna, kind of how, Luna is experiencing impact. And since Luna held other coins in their treasury, like Bitcoin, and I'm not sure what else they actually held, but, they've experienced 91% loss in a day. And this is kind of what they were talking about when we saw Do Kwon. Where is he? We saw it. Let me find it. Yeah, here we go. He rattled off this whole 14, 15 tweet thread, pretty much telling people that there's no way around it. If you're holding UST or Luna, you're going to be wrecked, because in order to restore the peg, someone's got to pay for it. And, that's you guys and him. He lost a ton of money too. Like, so he probably lost more than everyone. But, that's the risk. And everything with this whole Terra, just, it has me reconsidering, like, what is the point of stablecoins? Like, why should people have the expectation that something maintains a price peg? That's very difficult. Because supply and demand is a really fluid and dynamic thing. And so why should the price of an asset always be $1? And so that to me, because previously I just considered stablecoins as like a fact, like, oh, those are an important thing in the ecosystem. They're used for de-risking. It's an important on-ramping tool. It's like good for integration with existing financial systems. But it just, this whole thing kind of just has me totally reconsidering everything that I'd thought before about stablecoins. Like, why should people expect a stablecoin to hold a peg? And like, especially for, like, why is it costing people millions or billions of dollars in order to maintain a peg? Like, what's the point? Like, what's like, truly, like, what's wrong with UST costing 50 cents one day? Like, it's, like, why not? Like, why can't it cost 50 cents? And maybe why can't it also cost $1.50 at some point, or $2? So that, I'm still trying to work out exactly how I feel about it. But, this really makes me feel like Maximus really came at the right time, because in a way, Maximus is kind of like a hex-backed stablecoin, right? Like, we had the 294 million hex that was converted 1-to-1 into MAXI. During the first, during the minting phase, it in effect was a 1-to-1 stablecoin. And that's because the only MAXI that existed was that which was minted with hex, and it was fully redeemable and mintable at that 1-to-1 rate. And so anytime it would deviate, there was opportunity for someone to either, sell their MAXI get a little more HEX, and then take that HEX and then mint more MAXI, and then keep selling to kind of squeeze that down. Or if the price was below, somebody that held MAXI, or someone that held HEX could buy that MAXI at the discount, redeem it, get the HEX back, and then keep minting. So the in a lot of ways, MAXI kind of has been like a HEX-backed stablecoin, where the peg is guaranteed because the tokens are actually there. Some of these other kind of algorithmic stablecoins where they backstop the value of their stablecoin by having a portfolio of other assets. You never know what the prices are going to be. I know everyone wants it to be up and to the right forever, but you can't expect up and to the right forever without serious times of down and to the right, where it goes lower than you expected. And so, I think that what we've done with Maximus, I think maybe is going to demonstrate a really important thing, where it's good to have asset-backed tokens, but maintaining some peg by doing like supply manipulation, and like having to play hedge fund and be a portfolio manager in order to backstop the coin. That's a huge challenge. One, two, it doesn't work. I mean, shouldn't these guys have been able to figure it out? I mean, so I think that maybe that's what we're seeing in the Maximus price, is that, because it's in a way kind of like a HEX stake backed stablecoin that does not guarantee any price. There's absolutely zero mechanism or any suggestion that the price is going to stay at any level. Even on our website, we talk that at sometimes the market price during this time is going to be above the treasury value, and at other times it may be below it. And so, rather than guaranteeing or saying that price is going to hit a peg, we say price is going to not hit a peg. It's going to be everything but the peg. And I actually think that's a really strong way to think about it, because, why should you have the expectation that someone is going to maintain that peg for you? Why? And I think it's better, rather than expecting, some guy on, that on Twitter to maintain your peg and raise the funds to do that. And why not just hold something where you're not certain what the price is going to be at any given time, but you are certain that the token will be redeemable for at least one HEX. That's the only thing that is mathematically guaranteed that you can verify in the contract, is that each MAXI will be redeemable for at least one HEX. And yesterday on Twitter, I actually calculated what actually is the minimum earnings. If every single HEX was staked suddenly for max length, what would that do to the daily T-share payout? And we actually calculated that would actually put the MAXI minimum redeemable value at 1.56 HEX. So at minimum, about each MAXI is redeemable for about 1.56 HEX. And that's all that's guaranteed. And, it actually works pretty well, because one, it's it aligns with that no expectations culture that the hexagons have. Almost no one else in crypto has that. And I think that's why what makes us so strong and resilient is that we really don't have, even though a lot of people have unreasonable expectations of others, but kind of the people moving the price, they don't have expectations of others. And so, we kind of start with that strong ethos, and we carried it forward in Maximus, where, there's no expectation of any type of price. We have no idea. People ask me what's going to happen to the price? I truly have no idea. I've been shocked by what's been going on on the MAXI chart. And so, maybe this whole Terra thing, all these people are wrecked. So what are they going to do? But, maybe this, because there's clearly demand and interest in these asset backed coins, what UST was and what Maximus is, I think this may be a time for us to shine here, where we have, an asset backed coin. It's backed by a high growth asset, a yield producing asset. And it, so far we're almost at our 1 month anniversary of the minting phase launch. And things have been going just fine, and everyone's happy. The only people not happy are the people that didn't participate. And, we try our best, but what can you do? So overall, this, as sad as it is when people lose money, that's money that could have been, it's like you want other people to make gains in coins and roll them into the thing you own. But when people are taking losses, that's tough for them, but that's part of the game. Like crypto's not always up and to the right, like that, the whole, like, we're all going to make it type of meme. Like, yeah, it's fun. And it like brings people together and it's like a fun little rallying call, but like, that's actually really false. Like almost nobody makes it. Like it should be, rather than we're all going to make it, it should be like 1% of us are going to make it. And that, that kind of makes sense, right? Because like how many hexagons are there, and like how many hexagons are there that bought before 2021? So maybe that's like 25,000 people. And how many people are in crypto? Let's say, so if there's like 20 million, say 25 million people in crypto, and there's 25,000 people that were in Hex that have experienced like really good performance. That's like 0.1% of all crypto people. And of course other people in crypto are also experiencing good performance. So maybe there is about like 1 million people of the, say, 20. I don't know what the numbers are, the people, these are just estimates, but if say there's 25 million like actual crypto participants, and say 1 million of them are actually having any type of reasonable performance, which may be high, that's about 4% of people. So as sad as it is, I'm here to tell you the truth. We're not all going to make it. That WAGMI, it should actually be like maybe 3% of us AGMI. But that's why I'm here to teach you about Hex, build things that enhance the utility of Hex, and provide you different ways to experience the benefits of Hex and support the ecosystem. So that's what we're all doing here together today. Let's take a look at the chat. Let's see what everyone's saying. Mr. Marty says, yo, greetings from Holland. What's up, Mr. Marty? I guess it'd be what? Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Maximus. We're clearly in a Maximus premium cycle versus now. Over time, what kind of factors might be key when we see a maximum discount Hex? Yeah, so discounts absolutely in the game. I think a lot of this like initial run up is, one, FOMO for missing out on the minting, and then two, there's a large cohort of people in Maximus that are holding MAXI purely for the staking aspect, where even though they're holding MAXI because of the massive gas savings on end stake, and so they're not necessarily into it for the liquidity benefit, and so the current prices just haven't unlocked them as a seller. Maybe people that came for staking might sell if the premium is juicy enough for them, but at a 70% premium, when a lot of people are calculating that each MAXI is going to earn about 5 or 6 hex by the end, to them this seems like a discount. It's only 11 days of trading after minting phase ended, and a lot of people are really waiting this out. So there's only 1.15 MAXI in the liquidity pool. That's not to say there's not other people sitting there with big bags of MAXI watching the chart ready for their price target to be hit. But even though it's been going up versus Hex, it's partially just the market pricing in future earnings, and then they're just like being a lot of people that have a lot higher price targets, and this hasn't activated them yet. But other things that may cause a discount, I think if Hex goes on like a crazy 10x run in a couple of months, especially people from the minting class, because especially people that bought Hex either way long time ago and they're already experiencing really high performance, or the people that bought MAXI or bought Hex at MAXI launch when it was about 12 cents. If Hex runs, then if they're up so much just from the underlying, then they may be really tolerant of a discount. And then so that's actually when I expect to see our first discount, is during like a raging hexagon bull market. Because if you're already up 1,000%, and if you have to sell your MAXI at like a 10% discount to the Hex, like, okay, now you're only up 900%, and that's still better than most people ever experience on any trade in their life. And so I think that could unlock a lot of selling, just like the underlying Hex going up, especially if a lot of people in Maximus are measuring their performance in USD. So that could unlock a lot of selling. Just like as it, like if the momentum kind of slows down, just like normal like market stuff, where people watching this chart, if they're looking for like signals of trend reversal, maybe people looking for things like big candles that don't get filled, or look at this right here, just over this 4-hour one. It's like it's had a hard time breaking. If we zoom in a little bit, it's had a hard time breaking 80 cents. It still is in like this like upward kind of parabolic channel. Maybe once it breaks the parabola, maybe we see some selling, people locking in gains. And then, whenever people start locking in gains, the people that didn't lock in gains, they're looking at it. They're like, oh shit, I should have done that. Like I should have sold. That they're looking for any little pump to sell into. And then maybe they like this little pump and they sell, and then that momentum like starts looking negative. So people that were like anxiously awaiting to buy, maybe they're going to sit back a little bit, lower their bids. And so, all types of forces can cause the price to go back down, measured in hex. And that's all part of the game. Like it's there's going to be a class of users that experience loss, like the people that buy the top and then get shooken out at the bottom, like they're going to experience loss. But luckily, even though like at least where prices are today, it would require a lot of moving and shaking in the hex liquid, like the liquid hex market, to move the daily payout per T-share to a level that would only cause the end stake redemption value to be like what the price is right now, which is 1.74 hex. And I'm not even talking about the Hedron or any other the benefits involved in holding Maximus. I'm purely just talking like hex in hex terms. And so even if you buy into a premium and then maybe sit at a loss measured on the chart for months, at least it's not like something else where you could buy the top and something never comes back and it's not redeemable. At least in 15 years, it's going to be redeemable for a little bit more hex. So maybe that's why there's such a strong premium, is because people are really tolerant of potentially overpaying in the short term, because based on their own calculation, they believe in, and they're with very high certainty that this hex is going to be worth more in 15 years from now, because or their MAXI is going to be worth more hex in 15 years, which you can say with pretty high certainty that it will be. And so there may be just a lot of tolerance for overpaying, which that's a good thing. You want to hold the coin that people are okay with overpaying for. That's a really strong signal, and and we really just kind of got started here, and it's so there's great questions, Squareworks. Like there's really a lot that goes into this. Like I could go on for days about like what impacts price. There's a whole lot of things. That is for algorithmic stablecoins, not for US dollar peg sequence. Yeah. So like the stablecoins like Tether and USDC that are like, operated by a company that has a bank account and they like hold cash or cash equivalent or other assets that are like cash producing. Those ones usually like aren't in that same position. It's usually these algorithmic stablecoins that have had issue. And what, it's pretty funny. Like all the outsiders, like all the people that like I know in my real life that like hate crypto and they're always looking for something bad to say about it. They always used to share the Tether FUD. They're like, oh, Tether's going to cause a big collapse. I'm like, no, I mean like the Tether, like the people in crypto, like many people didn't even believe Tether had the funds anyways. So like that's already priced in. If there was issues, you would see it reflected in the Tether USDC price or the Tether DAI price, or just like any other price relative to Tether. You'd see a massive discount on the Tether if there actually was concern. And then nothing ever really happened, even though they lost money and like maybe for a while they were under collateralized, they kind of got it figured out. And so and then especially when Bitfinex, they found that those people that were in possession of the stolen funds from them, I think that helped the whole issue, because that was, I think, the cause of the issue is that they had lost a bunch of money, and so they had to, they were having all these business problems, and so like US like stablecoins that are backed, where you're relying on the issuer of the stablecoin to not invalidate your keys. Those work just fine. I don't think I've heard of anyone who had an issue with stablecoins like the USDC or USDT. And and it just works. But kind of these algorithmics that while I do think that they're important, I think that like relying on portfolio management in order to keep the peg, that's hard. Like you're relying on someone to have perfect trading. Like even the best traders, they only hit like 1 out of 3, but their 1 out of 3 returns 4 to 1. And so the like relying on relying on that, it just you have to bear the risk, and the risk is that you're going to get wiped out. And that's fine. That's like it's okay for people to experience loss. That's part of the game. It's what moves everything forward, and it's what disincentivizes that similar activity in the future. And so, but yeah. So what's actually pretty funny is that let's pull up trading view. It's pretty funny because a long time ago, there was a coin came out called Ample that caused a big stir in Hex. There's a guy that I thought was pretty entertaining who was talking about Ample, and everyone got really mad. I think he may have said some, had some arguments with people and such. But what's interesting about Ample is that it's an algorithmic stablecoin where whenever the price, okay, that's a bastard wick. We'll just start right there. So whenever price goes above the $1 target, I think it's like $1.06 or $1.04 target. Whenever it goes above the target, the supply, just like everyone, you don't even like pay for it in gas. It's just like in your MetaMask, you look at it and your number of tokens just increases. So like as the supply or as the price goes up, it multiplies everyone's balance. And then when the price goes below the target, it divides everyone's balance. So like on the way up, people experience gains because the price is going up and the number of units they have is going up. And so then those people sell into that. They sell those gains, and it brings the price down, and it kind of stabilizes it. But when price is below the target, it divides everyone's balance, and then there's nothing left for people to sell, and then it kind of restores the price. And so like holding it over a long period of time, you experience loss because it's like you're losing on the way up and you're losing on the way down. It's like you lose as the price goes from the peak down to the target, and then you also lose when price is going from the like pretty much just like this stretch from like the peak to the trough. It's like you lose all that way. You gain if you time it, where you buy at the target and sell at the peak, like that's a gain. So it's kind of like leverage trading. I think Richard described it as like reflexive thing. And so like this coin, like I think people misunderstood that, or maybe the person that was talking about this was like saying it as if it was a good investment, because people were like, it was right around this time. So people were making money on it, but it was just like, it required really accurate timing in your trading. And so, people I think people kind of overlooked this, but as far as like, algorithmic stablecoins, things like Ample, when we look at, just look at the moving average, let's look at like a long-term moving average of this. So let's change that to be like, let's see, that's weeks. It's been going on. Let's see like over the year. So when you look at this moving average over the year, right now it's $1.06, and I think that's the target. I thought it was like either $1.04 or $1.06. So as far as algorithmic stablecoins go, Ample works pretty well. There's that caveat that like people that hold it, they don't necessarily experience good performance because there's times where they're losing. But I think people make up for it by providing liquidity, because then you're making trading fees and there's not much impermanent loss because it stays within this range. So I think that's how people mitigate that. Like if they want to de-risk and hold something that's relatively like stable in dollar terms, they'll hold Ample and then provide liquidity. And so that's like a fine solution, and it doesn't rely on like portfolio management, and it doesn't rely on all this like wacky stuff. But the wacky stuff is what brings in the money. It makes people all hyped up. Like people feel like they understand something that no one else does. They think there's upside in that, and so there's kind of a place for all of it. But there is serious risk in these like algorithmic backed stablecoins, and that's what we're seeing play out on the with like Terra and Luna and that whole ecosystem. Pro Extra says, "Good afternoon, gladiators." Yep. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. I wish there was a anti-bot. The bots hate it. I don't know what that means. Our Turkish group here are all gladiators. Hey, that's awesome. Hello, Your Excellence. What a great day. Yep, every day is a great day. It's even what my shirt says. It says, "Have a good day." Not that you needed it, but congrats on Richard Hart's nod of approval. Yeah, I mean, that was really cool to hear him say that it's a cool idea and it brings value to the ecosystem. And everything else he said about, that he, only promotes and like encourages people to buy the tickers that he invented. That makes total sense. Like it's because he has a lot like over, since even 2 or 3 years before Hex launch, he's been building up this like social credibility and like building rapport with his audience and community, and he has a really strong track record of like not leading people down the wrong path. And anytime you introduce something that you don't like deeply understand, there's risk that you may lead them down the wrong path. There could be some critical failure that that happens that if he was the one that like said good things about it, then people got wrecked, then that would look bad on him. And so I absolutely understand. And I never expect, I've never even DM'd him or messaged him or anything, or even like tagged him on any post related to Maximus. Like I kind of understand the dynamic where like, I don't want to like intrude or encroach, and or like be shilling on his stuff. And so so I've kind of just kept my distance there. And I'm glad that he's but obviously I know he's very aware of what's going on. Like he's on Twitter and Telegram all day long, so he knows what's happening. And I think he was very receptive of it because he was very the idea kind of came from him. Like there's a video on Gold Key's channel, which maybe we'll play in a little bit, where he actually talks about it like numerous times across numerous streams about this concept of pooling and like encapsulating stakes. And so it wasn't like a brand new unfamiliar concept to him. And I think because it's like fully trustless, no admin keys, and it's not like extractive from Hex. I think that's why he kind of signaled that he thought it was like a good idea. And hopefully over time he as it continues to prove itself, maybe we hear him say more things about it or comment about strategy related to it, or and kind of factor that into the other things that he talks about and educates people about related to the Hex ecosystem. So that was really awesome to see him talk about that. It's pretty cool because it's like he's Hex, and then he's talking about MAXI and Hedron as being cool ideas that add value to the ecosystem, and Maximus captures the upside of both Hex and Hedron. And so that's what I got out of it. I'm like, okay, like I think we're onto something here, because like there's this thing that's in massive demand in Hex. There's this new thing that like that even further like incentivizes Hex staking and is like another like source of like unrelated yield on your Hex, and MAXI captures both of that. And we're providing 15-year price support in the Hedron, and by the time that our Hedron becomes liquid, it's like all the big stakers who get most of the Hedron, they're all going to be gone by then. So like the Maximus people may be like a serious force in the Hedron in the Hedron markets. And so I'm really excited that we get to capture the upside of both of them. Anything under 3-1 is a great deal. Yeah, I mean that seems to be the sentiment. I mean, what's the price now? Oh, dump it. Someone's dump. People are sitting on. I was talking about what could cause discounts, and people are selling. Let's see. I mean, it's only $80,000 worth sold. Not bad. I wonder what they bought at. Hopefully low. Good trade, guys. Bring that discount down. I know people are people want it. People are like, people DMing me. They're like, is the price gonna go back down? I'm like, dude, you tell me. So that's cool to see. What's up, Fat? We are Hex. Just to clarify, the treasury value is redeemable hex for Maxi, or is the treasury value 1 hex to 1 Maxi on that chat? Okay, so redeemable hex is the, I mean, it can kind of mean a couple things. On that chart, in drawing that, I was considering that like the interest that we earn each day is reflected in that chart, because you don't know what it's going to be. Like right now, everybody that holds a liquid hex could stake, and that would result in, like here, I'll pull it up on my Twitter. Like if suddenly what would the APY be if every single liquid hex is max length staked? If this happened, the daily payout would suddenly go from 6.2 to 0.69 hex per T-share. Maxi redemption rate would be 1.56 hex. Is the market already pricing in this minimum possible earning capacity? So because there's uncertainty related to what the future earnings are, that's why in this chart I made it look like as if the treasury value is always growing. Some people view this treasury value as like kind of like a fixed line up here that maybe they'll adjust, based on how the daily payouts unfolding. But in this chart, that's like as if each day when 5 o'clock, West Coast time ticks over, you see what the daily payout per T-share was that day, and then you know how much the stake earned. That's what I was factoring in here. But there's other ways that you can measure that. It's kind of a subjective thing. That treasury value is what the treasury value is to you, like, and how you interpret it, and everyone kind of interprets it differently. So, in my chart, that's how I view it. But you can also think about it in other ways. Pro Hexer says, I bought extra hex that dipped 10 cents and kept it liquid until I discovered Maxi the last minting day. All liquid hex minted in Maxi. Best choice I made. Hell yeah, Pro Hexer. That's what I'm really happy about what Maxi's done, is that it's helped push the hex price up, and there's the premium to the Maxi. So people that bought hex in order to mint Maxi, they're experiencing even enhanced performance. Like what's the USD price? So 25.7 cents. When the hex price was 25 cents, people were thrilled. Like you just it's funny to look back on Twitter, like when people posting when price was first hitting these levels, it's like people were ecstatic. And then when price is hitting them from above, people are literally like about to rip each other's throats out. And so, Maxi's kind of restored that, kind of mid-range zone for a lot of people. And I'm really happy that people were there ready to take action on it. That's kudos to you. You're in the game and you're ready to seize the opportunity when it came to you. And that's really what crypto is all about. What's up, Crypto Cliff Notes? Naeem says, is 1 Maxi 3 hex by June still FUD? Yeah, Naeem, quit fudding the price, dude. I told you we're going 100 million, 1,000 jillion X. Anything less than that is FUD. Quit fudding the price. Hit the like, share, subscribe. Yes. Hit that like button, share this video to all your friends, share it to your enemies, anybody. Everyone can benefit from learning about Maximus, and subscribe. Yes, thank you so much. Chance says the goal is to keep it pegged to a $2019 divided by the CPI. Okay, yeah, that's what the Ample thing was. Thanks for reminding me. Yeah, so which maybe they did it. It's pretty good. I mean, that worked. There's all this, people got wrecked, but it actually did the thing that it did. And so I think Ample wasn't meant to hold. It was meant to denominate a future contract in. Like if you have a contract where you need to pay out in dollars, but you don't need to necessarily hold those dollars today or throughout the duration. Ample makes sense because over the course of a couple weeks, you can average into it, and then you're going to be pretty close to $1. And I think that was the whole point of that. But yeah, thanks for sharing that. How will 2023 USA Fed coin impact the future Arch stablecoin? Will there need to be any stablecoins? Yeah, I mean, do you think that Fed coin is going to be just show up in your MetaMask? Do you think that Fed coin is going to have an easy to use wallet? Do you think it's going to plug into Uniswap? Do you think it's going to all the things that are really the benefits of crypto? Do you think that their coin's going to do that? No. It's probably going to be for international remittances, manipulating prices in the financial markets they regulate. Maybe for like payroll for like for U.S. government employees. And it's probably going to be a lot like the U.S. dollar is now, which is like, probably 99.9% of everyone's interactions with dollars is digital. And, you tap on Apple Pay, you put your thumb right there and it's spent. And so, we've already kind of had the USA Fed coin. And so whether it's now on like a new technology or like has like a new user interface, it's kind of still the same thing. Them having their own coin, like they're just like everyone else who launches a coin. And in this case, they are at a massive competitive disadvantage because it's probably not going to be like an ERC20 token that plugs into DeFi. It's going to be like some gobbledygook thing that like doesn't work, and and it's just going to kind of be the same thing. And so, it's just like another thing that has to compete. If people are going to demand other assets, then the price of the USA Fed coin relative to those other assets is going to go down. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. Katie says, good day, all. Thank you so much for joining us today. So Chance says, can the MAXI contract receive airdrops and distribute them? So the answer is no. In order to maintain the no admin keys and the maximum security that currently is captured in the Maximus contract, we could not allow open-ended contract calling and claiming unknown airdrops in the future. That's open-ended. So there's no way for us to safely do that. The way I view that as, one, if you hold MAXI and there's an airdrop that happens, just sell your MAXI. Hopefully there's a premium that you can sell into. And then like that premium, the money you made on the premium, there's your free airdrop. Now you can go buy that token if you think it's going to go up. And, also I also kind of view it like that's, like the Maximus community is very, very, a lot of gratitude, for others, and a lot of giving. And so that's our gift to you guys. We're not going to front run you all and nuke the price before you can mint your airdrop. That's our gift to you. Hopefully you can repay that maybe by buying from us at a premium with your gains from your airdrop. And so, we do not receive airdrops, and while airdrops are awesome, you can get them on your normal stakes, and, maybe people will include MAXI in the airdrop. It would be very simple. Like if people that are organizing some airdrop, if they were, saying that, okay, you get one airdrop per MAXI, or one airdrop per HEX, or, one airdrop per T-share or whatever, you can calculate the MAXI T-shares, and you can calculate how many T-shares per MAXI. And then, so in addition to saying, one airdrop token per T-share, you also get one airdrop token per 6,990 MAXI, because that's about one T-share of MAXI. So, there's ways people could do it. We have no expectations that anyone does do that or anyone caters to us. We only expect people not to. And yeah, if people really want them, they can just sell their MAXI and go buy whatever, dog shit token that people will airdrop to you. But also, one other thing to, that I like to point out, I like to remind people is, think not of the airdrops you won't be able to claim with MAXI. Think of the airdrops you may only be able to claim with MAXI. What's your thoughts on LL since UST has been depegged? I mean, it's like kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, why did they guarantee a peg? Like, why keep a peg? Like, what's wrong if the price of a coin goes down for a little bit? Like, what's the deal? So, I think that, the people that experience losses, that sucks for them. It's all part of the game. And, maybe this is the buy opportunity for that coin for people that are interested in that, so, I don't, it's always a part of the game. This is just one such thing that impacts price. And, I think over time, everything will just kind of move on. Will the USD price eventually appear on MetaMask? Or are we going to be listed on CoinMarketCap? So once CoinGecko lists our liquidity pools properly, it will be. If you see on CoinGecko right now, We have, yeah, so they say no active trades. When you look at the markets, all they list is an empty Uniswap V2, which doesn't even have literally no trading, nothing. Um, all of our markets are on Uniswap V3 right here. So that's the pair. So ours is a Uniswap V3 pool. And yeah, so they sent me an email saying that they like refreshed their V3 data feeds and it will show up soon, but it hasn't. So this is what makes it show up the price on Etherscan and MetaMask. So I guess once they do that, they'll get that going. I submitted for listing on CoinMarketCap, but they put us in this weird untracked category, and they haven't replied to my other messages about, because they had let's see right here, Maximus. So one, they have this warning, which is just false. CoinGecko also had this warning. So I think by default, they say that coins can be modified by the creator, even though there's like, absolutely no way that this is possible. CoinGecko had that at first, but then when I just emailed them and said, hey, like, it's not true. Look at the contract, no owner. We don't even use the ownable library. They got rid of it. And so I'm still waiting for them to update this whole listing. I sent in all the information and they told me that we're in this untracked thing and I don't really know how to get out of it. So maybe we can, if someone knows, like that would be really helpful for me. If somebody knows how to get your listing right on CoinMarketCap, please reach out. Please help me out with that. I would greatly appreciate that. But I know I haven't been too like urgent about that. There are other things I'm way more urgent about getting done and working on. Because like honestly, who gives a shit? I wouldn't have even thought about I kind of want CoinGecko because it'll make our price show up in the wallets. Honestly, like I really don't give a shit if they're gonna list HEX at 201. It's like I really don't care. I'm in no rush. The top performing things that I've ever experienced in crypto was before it was on CoinGecko, before it was on CoinMarketCap, before there was a price in the wallet. So maybe if I just dilly dally a little longer, that'll leave that window open for people to experience something awesome before it's listed, before the price is there and everything. So yeah, maybe I should, but shouldn't expect anything out of me. I clicked deploy on the contract and that was it. Like there's really nothing else I can do, and all this stuff is just kind of extra. But yeah, if you know how to get listed properly, let me know, and then I'll hopefully try to get that taken care of. Let's see. Do you provide on pulse chain liquidity pair EMAXI? No, I don't provide any liquidity right now. And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. But I do not. But the but I do think that this could be could be a good, like if HEX, EHEX, PHEX is a good pair, then EMAXI, PMAXI will probably be also a good pair. I'm still trying to determine what I think about, like if it'll be better or worse, like meaning will it be more stable or less stable than the EHEX, PHEX pair? Because the EMAXI, PMAXI pair kind of it suggests a different thing than the EHEX, PHEX pair. On PulseX, when people are trading EHEX, PHEX, that is the market measuring the value of liquid hex across the chains. It's measuring what is the value of liquid hex on Ethereum versus the liquid hex on Pulse chain. Whereas the PMAXI, EMAXI pair, that is the market measuring what is the value of max length staked hex on Ethereum versus the value of max length staked hex on Pulse chain. And since the value proposition of, because people think that the gas prices are going to be higher on ETH, which may not even be true, because that's kind of the general consensus, maybe the EMAXI price is going to be a little bit higher than PMAXI, because there's that extra value you get from the perceived gas fee savings. So that'll be really interesting to see, is like the relationship between like what that ratio is on EMAXI, PMAXI versus what it is on EHEX, PHEX. That'll tell us like the two endpoints of the market, like how it measures the liquid hex and how it measures the stake hex. That'll give us some really important information. Why is comparing USD to USDL, it's completely different compared to LUSD? Yeah, I don't even know what those stablecoins are. How long or at what hex price do you predict the first possible discount against Treasury value to occur? I have no predict. I'm actually the worst at making predictions. Like I have no sense of like upside. It's like my name's Dip Catcher. I have a trading algorithm called Dip Catcher. It only tells you when to buy, when to sell and like what the upside. That's nearly impossible to predict. When to sell is truly a personal choice. It's mainly driven by like things in your life outside of the charts. But knowing when to buy, that's actually a pretty, you can calculate what is a good range to buy. And so, my Dip Catcher algorithm that sends out those email alerts, and that you see on the charts that I post, that is, that's a buy side only, because that's easy to predict. Not even predict, it's easy to measure. But the upside, your guess is as good as mine. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just, if I want to ask for a price target, maybe I'll just be like, hey, Siri, what's the largest number? And then maybe that'll...
Since the positive integers are countably infinite, there is no largest integer. However, while technically incorrect, people sometimes refer to infinity, which is not a number but rather an unbounded quantity greater than every integer, as the largest number.
There you go, guys. Price target is going to be not a number, but rather an unbounded quantity. Last night on Maddie's show, did you explain a new product that won't get people liquidated? What was that topic about? Oh, we were just kind of spitballing ideas about different types of lending protocols that could be used with MAXI. And so the idea that I presented was a platform where you could, if you had MAXI, you could borrow USDC against it, and you post it in like a smart contract, like an escrow contract, where if price goes below a certain target, rather than like liquidating your MAXI and then paying back the lender just gets to take some of your MAXI, and then they can choose to do whatever they want with it. But rather than like liquidating the whole position, maybe they just like get a portion of your MAXI to balance it out. And then, so that was just my idea for a different type of lending, where like there's not like because like that's where a lot of the lending protocols have failed. It's partially on the price oracle part, but it's mainly because of how that price oracle causes other liquidations to occur. And so I think it'd be a good idea for a lending protocol to not have liquidations, but instead have repossessions, where the lender just repossesses the collateral instead of like the lender getting paid in dollars and covering the loan. And so that's just that was just the idea that I had. And so people could make money by lending in that market, because what you're really doing is just buying dips, because those repossessions only happen when the MAXI price goes down. And then, so it's just like as if you had bought it at that dip from that person. So it's like you're pre-buying the dip from them, or if they pay you back, you just get your dollars back and you don't get the MAXI. So that was just an idea that I had for a different type of lending protocol related to MAXI. Red Squirrel says, oi, oi, gladiators. What's up, Red Squirrel? Thanks for joining us yet again. Mixed, a.k.a. J Soul Steak. Oh, yeah. Got to get that meat and fruit, baby. What else is going on? Hex has been... See, I was debating someone here today. Just some shit talker on Twitter. He's like, that's it, not impressed. I'm like, here's a full history versus Bitcoin, so you can measure performance from wherever you want. Hex is the savior, but here we are comparing it to Bitcoin performance. Bitcoin is up 9,400% at the moment, and a cap supply, unlike inflationary coins like Hex. And here's this guy defending Hex's honor. Yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie. That's why, like, I feel like there's been this like delusion in Bitcoin where like it's like they just don't have a clue. And I think part of it's because they just don't have the experience. Like all the Ethereum people and like, the like kind of EVM based shitcoiners, like at least they're like on the cutting edge of the technology and like they're exploring different markets and like understanding these things. Like the Bitcoin people are literally just like sitting there smashing the retweet button on all Pomp and Sailor and like all that fantasy fiction bullshit that they tweet. That's all they read, and so they're just like so behind the curve. And so, you know, I feel bad for people that fall into that. Let's see what else people are saying on Twitter. Oh yeah, more people just here. Let's watch what he said.
So from my perspective, like I'm a coins that I invented maximalist, and people are building on top of my products, and they are building cool stuff. There are layer 2 things on HEX which are cool that I don't talk about, but they're actually cool. So somebody like sold fractions in a maxed out gigantic HEX stake, so that you can still have liquidity and like trade it, but still be having a giant long stake. Cool idea, right? You know, another guy gave away a free token to people for how long they stake. So he's giving you an incentive to stake. Cool idea, right? Like these are 2 things which add value to the ecosystem. But because they have tickers tied to them, even though they're cool, if people find out about it on their own, fine. But I'm not going to advertise them over the tickers I invest. I like the tickers I've got the most, you know. It's just like Vitalik. How often do you hear Vitalik talking about ERC20s? Never. He doesn't yield farm. He doesn't talk about ERC20s. His coins just sit there. And so what he does is he tries to pump his bags, and what he has bags of are Ethereum. So he talks about Ethereum.
Yeah, that's totally what I expect. And, you know, I'm just thankful that he thinks about it, you know, like true. Same to all of you. Like I have no expectation that anyone pays attention to any of this stuff that we've got going on here. And so I'm truly thankful to each and every one of you for even thinking about Maximus. And that I'm truly grateful for. So Swearwork says, I had a few friends that did not get into MAXI launch. They feel like they missed out. Told them just buy MAXI and they'll get the same benefit now by holding MAXI, right? So they'll get similar benefit. You know, they've missed out on like that first, you know, bit of performance. And now they're buying it like a slightly higher T-share rate. But depending on their size, one, I mean, the gas savings may trump this 70% difference here on like from the minting. You know, two, you know, if we look at just like this basic calculator here on our dashboard, let's refresh our page. When we look at our, you know, here on our calculator, if the daily payout per T-share stays where it is, this is actually lower than it is, but if it just stays here in this reasonable range, then by the end, you know, one HEX or one MAXI is going to be backed by 5.78 HEX and 3,973 Hedron, you know, times the value of Hedron, times the value of HEX. Times any other event that may cause a massive reduction in the MAXI supply. Don't expect that. If you want it to happen, make it happen, or ask someone to make it happen. But there, you know, there could be other things that go on that cause the supply to reduce, and you know, so you don't know what this redemption rate is going to be. You know, and a reasonable estimate is going to be like 5.7 HEX. If this goes low, meaning like a ton of people stake, like every stake that ends, they max length stake it. You know, this could go down. You know, so if the daily payout is 4, right now it's like 6.2, goes down to 4. You know, it'll be backed by 4.1. And so right now, each MAXI is only 1.69, only 1.69. You know, but you know, it's all relative. You know, it's all based on like what you think is going to happen, right? Because like if you know, like that's like a personal choice, and that's like, you know, the big, you know, multi-billion-dollar question here. It's like, what's the MAXI going to be worth? You know, what's it going to be redeemable for? And if you think that by the end each one is going to be redeemable for HEX, then, you know, maybe just buying MAXI and just like holding on to it, where, you know, even though you missed out on this first little move, you at least can have, you know, like a rough guarantee of what it's going to earn in the future. You know, just calculate it, whatever you believe it's going to be, and you can treat that as your benchmark. And then you have the benefit of being able to sell into a premium anytime between now and then, and potentially buy into a discount. And so, you know, you don't need the hold till redemption. And so, you know, buying strength and buying something that like in the future has like a strong likelihood that it's going to be redeemable for some, 3, 4, 5, 6x multiple, that depending on your life situation, that could be a good thing. So, I will never tell anybody to like what to do. Like, this is all a personal choice. But these are just the thing, so just, we try to make tools to help people infer that for themselves. So like, play around with this calculator, see how that makes sense to you. Just look at the chart and, hopefully people can all come to their own conclusion. Like, let's see, what if it was like 7 and it's like 6.57 hex. So Constantine asks, is MetaMask safe from getting hacked? So in general, MetaMask it really comes down to your own like computer security. If you're downloading malware, downloading spyware, they can hack, your computer, which may have the information that MetaMask is storing. So in general, MetaMask is good. Most of the people that get wrecked are people that give away their private key, or they get tricked into, someone's like, hey, I'm from MetaMask support. Open up your MetaMask, go to your security settings here, screen share with me. I'm helping you out. Click security, click reveal seed phrase. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. And they screenshot it and then wipe the funds. So like, you're more likely to lose money from that type of thing as opposed to like your MetaMask getting hacked. But if it's your MetaMask getting hacked, it's really your computer getting hacked. And so you should, if you have, and also it's all based on how much you have to lose. If you just have a couple $100, a couple $1,000, like, sure, you can keep it on your computer that you carry around, take to coffee shops, click links on, do whatever on. But if you have serious money at stake, you should absolutely invest in computers that you only even think about for crypto stuff. And when you use those, you don't go on Twitter, you don't go on Telegram, you don't go on anything else. And you only use them for that purpose. And then have really, really good passwords across everything. And that's a good way to increase the security of your computer, which will in turn increase the security of your MetaMask. Just waiting on my double pulse chain. Yeah, that's gonna be exciting. Maybe that's why no one's selling MAXI, because they're just waiting for their double. Swear says, that's what I mean. The fundamental value prop of buying MAXI with HEX is still in place for them. Yes, they missed the past month of price performance, but going forward, they're good. Yeah, that's right. It's like you're still holding staked HEX. You're still holding liquid staked HEX. And, who knows what other benefits may come to MAXI holders in the future. Hexagon's on YouTube chanting about airdrops. How many wallets do you guys like that actually have? 1,520. Could you explain the multi-wallet strategy? Nobody explains it. So I've had awesome performance with some of the airdrops that went to multiple wallets. Purely because like early on in my, just like I was spreading across numerous wallets, more for like security reasons, where like I didn't want to have everything in one wallet. So there are a lot of airdrops that I got across numerous wallets that were just from, having numerous, but that was more for security. I never expect an airdrop, like having a strong airdrop, like, even though you can have awesome performance with airdrops, like I don't plan for airdrops, and you can get kind of out of hand to do that, and maybe it's worth it if you nail it. But I've heard of people that like split up across 20 wallets, and every 20 of their wallets was like below the threshold for the airdrop. And so, it could kind of bite you in that way. Your top performing thing is not going to be an airdrop. It's going to be something that you bought when no one else wanted it, that suddenly became massively in demand. That's what we saw with HEX. Maybe we'll see that in Pulse Chain. We're seeing that in Maximus. And so, the top performing things are unlikely to be airdrops. Airdrops are good, like supplementary crypto income, but multi-wallet, it's everyone's choice. You kind of got to just like look within and think for yourself on that. But multi-wallets for security, that is actually a really good strategy, because like, say you're, one of your devices or like one of your things got hacked or you lost it, then you didn't lose all your funds, you just lost that much. So, there's other good reasons to use multiple wallets. What happens to the original HEX that was used to mint MAXI at the end? So that's just returned to the redeemers. When, it went 1 HEX in per MAXI minted. And then at the end of the stake, there still is that principal plus the interest, and all that is divvied up amongst the Maxi holders. And so there's no more Maxi that will ever be minted. And so it just gets returned to the minters, or not the minters, it gets returned to the redeemers. So whomever has the Maxi at the end, they get the coins. Swearwork says, you built something great. Thanks. And I appreciate you continuing to share your insights with us and building long-term community. Cheers to you. Thank you, Swearwork. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the kind words. It really means a lot to me. Landline says, those who hold Maxi redeem them and get back a percentage of that multiplied hex back. Yep, that's right. You got it. All right. I think I'm going to get on with my day. This is all. I think I'm going to start doing morning streams more. It's easier to just kind of do it right when you get up, get everyone out of the house, and fresh off the coffee. One of my Hexagon friends gave me this awesome espresso machine. So we've been having homemade lattes at home last couple of days. That's been really tasty. So I've been up and at 'em in the mornings. So yeah, I think I'm going to hop off here unless anyone else in the chat has any questions. That's all I had today. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com
from my perspective,
/TantoNomini. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/Maximus_DAO, t.me/MaximusDAO. If you want to check out the chart, find Maxi on Dex Screener. If you want to learn more, go to maximus.cash. And yeah, that's all for me. Thank you all so much. Had an awesome time with you this morning. We'll talk to you soon.